All right, well, welcome back to Animal Training Development Center. And today is going to be a little different than most of our days of videos in the sense that you're not going to see me up working with a dog and taking them through their paces and describing them in dogality types and showing the different exercises and all that kind of stuff. And the reason for that is my microphone or malfunctioned, and I just didn't have any audio when I came to do the video. So what we are going to do instead is we're going to play with my new drone, which is what I'm doing here as we're watching our dog. It's in training. This is Koda. He's a 7-month-old Aussie Mountain Doodle, and he is already 65 pounds at just 7 months old and going to be a very large dog. His dogality type kind of is one that kind of reverses from high dominant to underscore guarded to high guarded underscore dominant, depending on his environment and his stress level. This is pretty common for dogs that are younger, just like adolescents. They have a tendency to be, emotional. I feel like dogs are kind of that way when they're in their 7-month-old to 9-month-old, state, even into a year sometimes, where they're really fluctuating between different dogality types, trying to figure out who they want to be when they grow up, sort of thing. But as you can see in this video, this is toward the end of our 10-day program. He's pretty confident in his dominant stage here. Dominant traits are a good thing as long as they're balanced. And that's really the same with every dogality type. So there are 5 roots. We have dominant, outgoing, guarded, supportive, and submissive. And each of them has pros and cons that go along. And what we try to do as trainers is just balance whatever we have into being a healthy and good representation of that. So there's no good or bad dogality type. It's just who they are and trying to balance who they are. So with a dominant dog, we just don't want them to become bullies. They have a tendency to be very strong-willed. We like them to kind of listen to us. We like them to be confident, sure. We just don't want them to be bullies, like I said. And so he has that tendency to go that direction if he's acting out negatively in his dominant role. And then the guarded side is very wary of anything different and very kind of just close knit in their friend group and things like that. Inner circle wise, if you're in there, they're very loyal, very affectionate. But if you're not, they're very standoffish and very distant. So what we're doing is kind of nudging Koda into the dominant role because his lifestyle with his family is one that kind of really will help with that. It's going to be a more uh, proper role for him to play out than the guarded side. So we kind of nudged him toward the dominant. This is the end kind of product where he's showing off his dominant roles and at the same time, still a lot of work to be done because he's only 7 months old. There's no way that he can learn everything in 10 days that he needs to learn. I always say you only get life experience as you continue to do life. And at 7 months old, he hasn't had much opportunity to do that. So finishing up with a nice sit here, and he worked through the sound of the drone really well. Next, we're going to the training center, and here you see him doing some figure 8 patterns, one of my favorite exercises. And it teaches the dog to stay in the heel position, whether we're going right, whether we're going left, as we're turning into them, as we're turning away from them. And this is probably day 3 of our training, working with our trainer in training. Her name's Topanga, working with Koda now. And she's doing a really nice job of staying in a steady pace and keeping him in check in his position as far as the heel goes, all looking very good. What I think we'll do next is we're going to take a little time and just show you that guarded side of him so that you can see the difference. This is him continuing to act out in his dominant role, and as you'll see at the end, he gets back to that even in a mix of other dogs. But I do want to give you guys a flashback on his first day when he came to train with us and his reactivity toward another dog we had that day who was on her second day with us. The other dog is clearly a dominant dog and a little bit older, a little more stable.
All right, so we're introducing two dogs who have not met before, and these are dogs that I'm working with myself today. So instead of having another person handle the other leash, I'm just going to let one of them just be loose. Now, this isn't ideal, and I don't recommend it. If you can have a second person, that's always better, especially if it's a person that's pretty knowledgeable on how to help. And so the idea is, of course, we want the introduction to go smoothly, and you can always see a little bit of drama, but because I'm going to be able to just kind of stay here where there's going to be a presence of one another, I can assist here in keeping the dogs apart if need be. So with the leash there and on a leash here, I can easily step in, put my body between the two if I feel safe in doing that. I can literally put the camera in between the two if I need to. But I've already met each of these dogs and spent an hour or two with each of them myself, so I feel confident that none of that is really going to be needed. The reason I say that is over here we have a very young dog, and here we have a rescue dog that came from a shelter where she's already been around a variety of other dogs and is pretty, well versed in the different body languages and not looking to get into trouble with another dog. And so all I'm doing is I'm walking around, and there you can see he's taking that opportunity to move, but now he's holding some ground, but curiosity is also there, so we'll just let this play out a little bit. That's what we call a submissive grin, by the way. It looks like it's very intimidating, but this is a dog who doesn't really have the confidence to act out. He's really more afraid than he is dominant. This dog over here is more dominant, but not looking for a fight. See how she didn't back off even though he kind of gave his stuff? So she's not afraid. And he's just acting out this way because he is afraid and trying to feel confident. Here we see her, a little bit of play ball action actually. She wants to play. Good. Good dogs. Good dogs. I'm just going to purposely have her move with me. This way. Good girl. So we can give a little space. And he's going to get to be around a lot of dogs before it's over. The rumor has it when he is home, he picks on the other dog that this family owns, which is a little bit older but much smaller dog. And he's kind of the one that kind of picks trouble with him. So I guess this is kind of a little reverse on him, where he doesn't feel that he has that upper paw, and so I think that's maybe why he's acting the way he is. So he's afraid. He wants to be in charge, but he's facing a dog that doesn't act afraid of him. Good. That's right. There you go. Good. 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 So she was being really kind. No. And I'm just trying to teach him that with my human abilities to show a little bit more tolerance, right? Here we go. Let's take another little walk here, Shelby. Shelby, you're doing great. Yes, you are. You're doing great with this. Come around for another little pass here. He's like, can I go home now? Matt, there you go. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. Let's go for a little walk. There you go. Good. Come on. Come on. There you go. Come on. This is the deep end of the pool out here. If we can get them away from the shallows where they always like to hide out by furniture and behind even little metal chairs. Get on the couch, get in a crate, get behind the motorcycle. If they can find a place to hide, they will act a lot more aggressive when we get close. But if I can talk him into coming out to the deep end with me, come on out here. then we'll have better luck. So if I had another handler, that's exactly what I would ask them to do right now. I'd say pick up that leash and let's bring them both out here to the middle of the room a little bit. And having said that, let's see what we can do with that single-handedly. So I'm going to go ahead and drop Shelby's leash, and we're going to reverse our plan. There we go. Good. This time she's going to have free rein, and I'm going to coach him. There you go. That's it. Good. Good boy. And you notice he didn't have anything to say about any of that. Reason being, he's out in the deep end of the pool now, and he doesn't have the confidence that he would have if he was, away from. That was a play bow on her part, and half a play bow on his part. That was actually a good sign. We got to get the initial butt sniffing out of the way. That always is a thing. There we go. What do you think, huh? She's not so scary. She don't want to hurt you. She don't want to hurt you. Good boy. Good boy. That's it. Good boy. There we go. Good dogs. All right, that's about enough sniffing now. Shelby, that's enough sniffing. Good. There you go. But this is looking good now between the two of them. There we go. Good dogs. Still some avoidance over here. With you notice he's not faced her yet, so he's still trying to find a place to go hide more than he is trying to deal with his own fear. And so what I like to see before I kind of let go of him is, there we go. Good dogs. There you go. There we go. That was good. One more of those. One more of those. One more of those. Take a look. She's pretty. Take a look. She's pretty. Take a look. She's pretty. Come on. There we go. Good dogs. Good dogs. There we are. There we are. Good. Good. So now I'm just going to let go of both leashes. Okay. Go and hole up somewhere and then go back to what he was doing. Or we may have just broke the ice enough that he's going to be content hanging out with her. And if that's the case, we have been very successful already, haven't we? The tail is encouraging, and curiosity is now starting to come out. I would say we're on our way to a friendship. A little lifting a lip as she starts to make her way over. Yeah. Just a little verbal correction on the pack leader's part. Good. Shelby. Shelby, good girl. Come here. Come on, Shelby. Good girl. Oh, that's good to see. I called her and he came too. Good. Good.
All right, so now we're going to take a cut to the end of our time with our 10-day board and train program, and you can see Koda is happily in the mix, playing, respecting boundaries, feeling like he has boundaries respected. And so there's been, a big shift in him. So I feel really proud and happy to see his moving forward from, mixing it from high guarded to underscore dominant to high dominant underscore guarded and not knowing who he is to kind of starting to see who he is in the dominant role and a balanced dominant. So you see him going up here, there's no lip lifting. There's no, going after anybody. He's really come a long way in a short time. And I think that if we keep moving forward in a way that promotes the dominant side over the guarded side, and we start to continue to train and desensitize him to anything that might trigger him, that guarded side could disappear maybe altogether and might even be replaced by a supportive side which would become a tremendous asset for the future. So I think he's got a great future. He can become a great personal protection dog, but there's a lot of work to be done, of course. 7 months old is just not that much time to get a dog completely trained, and we need to do more work. But in the meantime, as always, happy training.